All right, let's dive into something that's been making waves in political circles lately. Todd Blanche, Donald Trump's former personal lawyer, has just been narrowly confirmed as the nation's attorney general. And let me tell you, this is one of those stories where the drama behind the scenes is just as fascinating as the headline itself. Personally, I think what makes this really interesting is the sheer amount of political maneuvering and personal history that's at play here. It's not just about Blanche getting a new job. It's about what this says about the current political climate, the power dynamics in Washington, and the ongoing influence of Trump's legacy. First off, let's talk about the vote itself. Blanche squeaked by with a 50-49 confirmation, and that margin alone tells you how contentious this nomination was. Two Republican senators, Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski, crossed party lines to oppose him, which is a big deal. These aren't just any senators. They're known for being more moderate and willing to buck the party line when they feel it's necessary. So, what does it say that even they couldn't get behind Blanche? In my opinion, it speaks volumes about the concerns surrounding his appointment. Murkowski, for instance, cited her lack of confidence in Blanche to check the worst impulses of this administration. That's a pretty damning statement, and it raises a deeper question. If someone as critical as the Attorney General can act as a check on presidential power, what does that mean for the balance of power in our government? Now, let's talk about the deciding vote, Senator Bill Cassidy. This guy's decision was closely watched because of his complicated history with Trump. Cassidy voted to convict Trump during his second impeachment over the January 6 Capitol riot, and Trump didn't forget that. In fact, Trump backed a primary challenger against Cassidy earlier this year, effectively forcing him into retirement. So, when Cassidy voted to confirm Blanche, it was a moment that made a lot of people scratch their heads. Cassidy said he believed Blanche was the best option Trump would put forward, and that Senate confirmation would give Blanche greater leverage to push for things that should be pushed for. But here's the thing. If you take a step back and think about it, Cassidy's vote feels less like a vote of confidence and more like a pragmatic decision in a no-win situation. It's almost like he's saying, this is the best we can get under the circumstances. One thing that immediately stands out is Blanche's history with Trump and some of the controversial decisions he's been involved in. For example, there's the issue of the $1.8 billion Anti-Weaponization Fund, which was supposed to compensate individuals who claimed government persecution. Critics, including Murkowski, feared this fund would end up benefiting people who participated in the January 6th attack. Blanche eventually pledged to walk back the fund after backlash. But here's the kicker. It's unclear whether that commitment is legally binding. What this really suggests is that Blanche might still be in a position to revive a similar scheme down the line, especially if Trump pressures him to do so. And that's a detail I find fascinating. It's like the fund is just on pause, waiting for the right moment to resurface. Another point of contention was Blanche's role in settling Trump's $10 billion lawsuit with the IRS. Susan Collins raised concerns about this, but ultimately decided to trust Blanche to give the president candid legal advice. Personally, I think this is where things get really murky. The Attorney General is supposed to be the nation's top law enforcement official, not the president's personal lawyer. But given Blanche's history with Trump, it's hard not to wonder where his loyalties truly lie. What many people don't realize is that this blurring of lines between personal and public interests is a trend we've seen more and more in recent years, and it's something that should concern all of us. If you take a step back and think about it, Blanche's confirmation is part of a bigger trend in American politics, the increasing politicization of institutions that are supposed to be nonpartisan. The Justice Department, in particular, has been at the center of this debate for years. From my perspective, Blanche's appointment feels like another step in that direction. Whether he'll be able to act independently of Trump's influence remains to be seen, but the fact that this is even a question is telling. So what does this all mean for the future? Personally, I think Blanche's confirmation is a symptom of a larger issue, the erosion of checks and balances in our political system. It's not just about Blanche or Trump. It's about the precedent this sets. If the Attorney General can't act as an independent check on presidential power, what's to stop future administrations from further politicizing the Justice Department? This raises a deeper question. Are we moving toward a system where the rule of law takes a back seat to political expediency? In closing, I'll leave you with this thought. Blanche's confirmation is more than just a political victory for Trump. It's a test of our institutions. Will Blanche be able to rise above his personal ties to the president and act in the best interest of the nation? Or will he become another example of how political loyalty can trump the rule of law? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure. This is a story we'll all be watching closely. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below.